Hello and welcome back for episode 9 of Premier League Primetime. We are here with the usual Jose, Cyrus, Andre. How are all of you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm all good. And yes, we have another guest on the show. And now I am so happy we have finally got this guy on. And it's been freaking ages I've been trying to get him on. A great guy, absolutely fantastic, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would say after any game, regardless if United win or lose. We have Mr. Liverpool himself, Mr. Aidan Quinn. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Davis. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I know it's been a long time coming, but I'm ready. Let's get it. Let's do it.
Just like Jurgen Klopp, he's got the enthusiasm, ready to go.
Let's get it. Best Premier League podcast on YouTube.
You know it, and he said it.
Listening to these guys every week increase my Premier League fantasy score. It's fact. Minimum 50 points increase if you listen to these guys.
My Premier League fantasy thing has been absolutely shocking as of late. It's been actually awful. Anyways,
first place.
Oh, good.
Place. I moved up.
I haven't checked.
You're third.
Anyways, going right into where we need to go into, analyzing the games this past weekend. Cyrus, let's start with you. So Burnley went to Brighton, and that was a nice, amazingly entertaining 0-0 draw. What did you make of that game?
I thought it was maybe a little entertaining because, Brighton, they shot 19 times, which is the most of any side in the Premier League so far this season, and that hasn't won a game. So, respect to Brighton. Of course, yeah. Respect to Brighton. They were playing well. Burnley, of course, classic. Just sit there. So, I don't know. It was interesting from Brighton. They played well. I feel like, they just had to get a goal and not clinical enough with all those shots in.
Yeah, I think you said it very well. It really shows Brighton's lack of clinical kind of players. They really don't have that. I mean, they have Maupay, who's hugely important to that side. They picked up Danny Welbeck to try and help them in that department. But then again, I mean, neither of them at the moment really seem like that clinical finisher that Brighton desperately need. And yeah, as you said it perfectly, Burnley, just typical Burnley, typical Sean Dyche, playing that 4-4-2 with the legends themselves, Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, sticking them up front, trying to be as physical as possible. But that five in the back was able to handle them, relatively well. Andre, shifting to you. Newcastle went to St. Mary's and lost by 2-0 against Southampton. Goals courtesy of Che Adams and Stuart Armstrong. My opinion, well-deserved win from Southampton. Newcastle, very sloppy. But what did you make of the game?
The result just echoed a lot of the things that we have been talking about in terms of Southampton. They've improved immensely. Their attack is really bouncing. Ings at the forefront. Che Adams finding some form finally. They absolutely deserve the 3 points. They were just the better team on the day compared to Newcastle. Yeah,
exactly what I said. I mean, that Newcastle midfield was so sloppy. Yeah. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Sean Longstaff, making mistake after mistake. I saw Almiron make so many mistakes. The strikers were just, St. Maximin for me was just absolutely non-existent in that game. But yeah. Southampton, and they've been surprising this season. Southampton. At one point, they were top of the league. I mean, I think they're still in like second or third place at the moment.
Fourth now.
Or fourth. But they've been fantastic. They've been brilliant. I think a top half finish of the table. And as I've said about a lot of teams this season, if Ralph keeps doing what he's doing, he's gonna that Southampton side's probably gonna tear up a lot of that. And he's going to tear up the league, in my opinion. But yeah, another superb result from Southampton.
I mean, what's interesting that you could make a case for so many sides this season on why they have the best chance of finishing top half. I mean, you're looking at just a really competitive league overall this season.
Yeah, and it's such a strange season too. I mean, if you think about it, by November, I mean, absolutely nobody would expect, some of the, teams in the table to be where they are. I mean, I don't think a single person could really expect Aston Villa to be where they are. I don't think anybody could really expect to see where Manchester United is at the moment, which is really not great, which is actually, Jose, where I'm going to ship over to you. Manchester United getting a very, very much needed 3-1 victory at Everton. Bernard opening the scoring for Everton, who I know Aidan likes very much. And then goals courtesy of the man who needs to have some respect put on his name, Bruno Fernandes, with 2 goals, and Edison Cavani netting his first. A very, very much needed win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which a lot of uncertainty surrounding his future amidst rumors of the sack and Mauricio Pochettino and Julian Nagelsmann of RB Leipzig coming in to take his place. What did you make of the game?
Well, it was exactly what Manchester United needed. I'm glad we got the result. Bruno Fernandes had a really good game. I think he leads the league now in chances created, where he has 20, and I think the next people have 18. So, and it just shows you how much of an impact he's made this season. I think the important thing for United fans is to realize that this one result doesn't mean anything. It doesn't acquit Ole of all of his wrongdoings in the past. I think we need to take it as a good result, but we need to realize that we could still be inconsistent and we could still lose games in the future because of a poor manager.
Yeah, I think you put it very well there. I mean, for me, personally, my stance on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now since the Arsenal game, I've really just now come to a common conclusion that, look, I love the guy. He's my favorite player of all time. I mean, he's a living legend as a Manchester United player. I mean, any United fan, in my honest opinion, any United fan who doesn't have some level of respect for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't a United fan. Because this guy literally sealed the dream of us winning the treble back in '99, and this guy is a living legend throughout the club. But for me as a manager, he's just not good enough for me. And yes, if the Pochettinos and the Nagelsmanns were coming along, at this point, I pull the trigger, to be honest with you. And for me personally, it's not something that it's not like Jose Mourinho, which I'm just like, get him out, please. Easily, I will pull the trigger, but it's not easy because this guy's a living legend, and it's not easy to say, oh, you should be sacked, especially to someone who's done so much for this club as a player. Anyways, moving to the next game, Aidan, over to you. And thank goodness I stuck with the prediction that I did, because I know I was getting a lot of stick from it, just from people outside the podcast. But Leeds United hosted Crystal Palace, and Leeds United got absolutely battered. They lost by 4-1. Goals courtesy of Scott Dan, the new signing from QPR, Eze, a Helder Costa own goal, and a lovely Jordan Ayew finish. And then Patrick Bamford yet again striking for Leeds United. What did you make of the game?
Well, initially before the game even started, I was my prediction. I don't know which way it can go because both sides this season have been a bit hot and cold. For example, Crystal Palace will play one game well, and they'll just not play well. Same with Leeds; they'll play really well, be set the ball, and the next game they're really inconsistent. So, I was thinking before it could go either way, and it got off to a really good start for Crystal Palace with the Scott Dan header, first goal in 3 years. So, congrats to him. And then the controversial moment of the weekend, in my opinion, Patrick Bamford's offside goal, VAR, calling it off because of the hand, his arm, my bad. And I feel if that would have counted, I feel like the game would have been a bit tighter because that led to Eze, his phenomenal free kick. Like
I thought that was a brilliant free kick.
Pure class. But Leeds had a very good reaction with Bamford's goal. He actually got his goal this time. And then second half, I don't know what happened in the Leeds dressing room, but it just went downhill from there. But the third goal, the own goal, was a bit unlucky because it was a good challenge. It was just like the speed on the ball, took it front post. Goalie, maybe he could have done better, but I'm not too sure on that one. And after that, I don't know. I think Leeds kind of gave up because moments later on in the second half, I was noticing Leeds player, when Crystal Palace would break in the box, Leeds' box, the Leeds players are standing, watching, going through the motions, and getting broken down. which especially led to the fourth goal with Zaha. You did not give him that much space. Regardless of what form he's in, you did not give him that space. He picks out Ayu, and Ayu puts it away. So 4-1, and I think it was a good result for Crystal Palace. Hopefully they can maintain their form. Hopefully Eze, because I like him. Hopefully he maintains his form too, and let's see what he can bring.
Yeah, very well summed up there by Aidan. Yeah, I probably couldn't have said it better myself. Crystal Palace, and as I predicted, Leeds United, and as I said, Leeds United remind me of, or some of the results that they've had, they literally remind me of both Manchester derbies in the league last season. Dominant on the ball, very good in terms of possession, but they love to just be on the front foot. But when it comes to teams just sitting back and using, basic schoolboy tactics, just like hitting them on the break, they just become all of a sudden super vulnerable. And we know what Roy Hodgson is. I mean, this guy literally makes a living off of that 4-4-2, sits back defensively, and then hits him on the break with the pace of Zaha and Ayu and Eze. I mean, it really, really hurt Leeds United in every way, shape, and form. And we saw it against Leicester, which they got taken apart literally by the exact same thing. I think it was by the same score, 4-1, I think. Same score. 2 4-1s in a row. And I think Bielsa is literally just an Argentine, Pep Guardiola, in my opinion. They play like literally the exact same way. For me, it's a shame to see Leeds United out like that, but for one thing, I think if Leeds United are to be more successful against those kind of oppositions, he needs to have more than one kind of tactical setup other than just is playing 4-1-4-1 setup, and hopefully in the future they'll get their act together, and they'll be able to resist by losing by scores of 4-1, not just from brilliant dominant performances, but just from counterattacking goals. Yeah. Going to the next game, Aidan, sticking with you. Chelsea hosted Sheffield United. David McGoldrick opened the scoring for Sheffield United, and then goals raining in from Chelsea. Tammy Abraham, Ben Chilwell, first for Thiago Silva and Timo Werner. And no, Mason Mount did not score, because if he did, Frank Lampard would probably have a freaking party, and would also invite Gareth Southgate along the way as well, because both of them have their little a loving relationship with Mason Mount. And Aidan, what did you make of that game?
I actually thought I was very excited at this game because I actually like the way Sheffield have been playing, especially last season. I was hoping to see more of that this season, but I feel like they've been found out a bit. And obviously, we know Chelsea, brand new side, not new side, but new side in terms of their starting 11, trying to gel, trying to get together. Still in the process of that. And so I was excited. So the first 20 minutes, brilliant game. Sheffield was attacking them. They were pinning them in their own half. Good all around. Then in the 9th minute, Goldbridge scores that goal. In my opinion, a very good center forward goal. A well worked corner where they played it back across, and then the cutback, and then they just fizzed it in the middle of the box, and Goldberg's there, just scores it. Nice flick, lovely finish. And and I was expecting Chelsea to have a faster reaction, but it took them a little bit. And well worked goal with Kovacic finding Tammy in the box with it was a decent finish. It was a striker's finish for sure. Not the cleanest strikes, but all the goals count. And then at that moment, momentum shifted, and Ziyech took the game in his hands with what a ball.
He was brilliant. He was phenomenal.
What a ball to the Chelsea's second to
Chilwell,
which I thought was a bit lucky, because if you look at the replay, the ball in was really well worked with a curved pace on there, and the goalie was coming out, and Chilwell kind of like backed away from it, but as he was backing away, it hit his thigh and just bounced in. But like the first goal, they all count. And I feel like game over for Sheffield then. They couldn't keep up with Chelsea no more. And again, for the third goal, the main man Ziyech, the signing, assist to Thiago Silva. What a ball. What a ball. Put it on a plate for Thiago Silva. Yeah, and then the fourth goal for Chelsea, it was just really good pressing. team press by N'Golo Kante, and it ricochets perfectly, finds Timo Werner, makes him in a one-on-one in the box, and he don't miss those, buries it, just game over, GG's.
Yeah, he summed it up perfectly. And Aidan, quick opinion question to you. Were you not impressed by your boy Ryan Brewster during that game?
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more from him, but I feel like he's never been exposed to this many Premier League minutes.
Yeah, that's very
top
true.
level. You know, he was on loan last year to Swansea. He was doing his thing, but the Championship and the Premier League, huge. Even that huge gap, especially at his age, trying to learn the game, ins and outs. But against Liverpool, he played well. He's pressing well, but here, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. That's a very good point you make. The Championship and the Premier League are two different levels. So top quality performances in the Championship doesn't always, succumb to top quality performances in the Premier League. But I will say, and especially in some of the games that we have, there are definitely examples of players who are top quality in the Championship who have so far this season have been flying in the Premier League. And I know one of those players, which we will talk about later, Cyrus, is very excited to tell us a little bit all about. Anyways, Jose, going to you. Fulham went to West Ham, and of course, West Ham yet again with another good performance, grinded out that that 1-0 win. Thomas Suchek with a late goal. Literally, I think it was like his first touch like all game. I think he came in and scored that. What did you make of the game?
Well, I think the headlines for this game have to go to Saeed Benrahma, who came in clutch with the assist in the 90th plus first minute. But then shortly after, gave away a penalty, and they almost lost. But fortunately for them, Ademola Lookman decided to chip it down the middle and got embarrassed by Fabianski, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel a little bit. I feel a bit sorry for Ademola Lookman, to be honest with you. Guys, just trying to do his thing, just trying to do a Panenka, thinking he's Sergio Ramos. But yeah, and I know this will make Jose very happy. But yeah, unless if you're Sergio Ramos, it's very difficult to consistently do top class Panenkas down the middle. Yeah, I'm pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Another good result for David Moyes. Some of the crap I said in the past about David Moyes, I'll start to take a little bit of that back. Him being like one of the worst managers I've ever seen, because he's clearly doing something right with this West Ham side. And to be honest with you, even in their loss to Liverpool and stuff like that, I really haven't seen a horrendous West Ham performance in what seemed like ages. Honestly, I really haven't. I mean, if any of you think otherwise, you can say it. But in my opinion, I don't really see a really poor performance. So you could say, oh, West Ham, they were crap. Yeah. Andre, coming over to you. Finally, or what seems like finally, Tottenham got the victory, and their main man, Harry Kane, getting his 150th goal. And Harry, for watching this, congrats from all of us at PLPT, and of course from the main man himself, Andre himself, for that 150th goal. And I think he's now like number 9 on all-time Premier League goal scorers or something like that. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Yeah. But a late ball in from Matt Doherty, finding the head of Harry Kane. What did you make of the game? Well-deserved victory for Tottenham?
I mean, I'm always going to say so, but no, happy to get the 3 points. It was a good, solid, 60, 70 minutes at the top of the table before Leicester won. No, but, our attacking players weren't at the top of their game on the day, but it ended up being huge defensive leadership and reliability that ended up doing it in the end. Hugo Lloris was brilliant and was commanding of his defenders. Eric Dyer, maybe his best performance yet. He saved us a number of times. And if our attacking players aren't at their best, which is going to be rare if we're going to really challenge for things, then our defense needs to do exactly what they did. So obviously into the international break, now, but I'm really hoping that the defensive solidity stays and our attacking players grow sharper, and hopefully we can keep getting points on the table.
Yeah, and very well said there. And to be honest with you, I think that was the first game so far this season. I might be wrong, or the first Premier League game of the season where you're seeing Heung-min Son, Gareth Bale, and as said in the past, no, he actually isn't in the medical room. He's actually on the pitch playing football. I know it could be a surprise to everybody. And just like Ousmane Dembele for Barca, I mean, people could be thinking, how on earth is Gareth Bale and Ousmane Dembele playing consistent amount of games? And I know a lot of people are surprised by that. I'm personally shocked by it myself because I'm thinking most of that time is going to be injured in the medical room. But yeah, those three together, they seem like a very, very promising trio. Jose Mourinho season 2 working his magic as always, because that's how Jose Mourinho works in his 3-season cycle. Yes, yeah, he came in halfway or midway through last season, but that still counts as kind of a first season, doesn't it? I personally think that to a certain extent, Tottenham definitely deserved that victory. It definitely took a lot to break, for what I'd say, a valiant West Brom, to break down a valiant West Brom side down. They were literally clinging on with their dear lives, but yeah, it just at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And you know what you get from Harry Kane. You know what you get from him. Just a top class striker, one of the best in the world, and only someone biased would say otherwise. He is one of the best. Of course, Harry Kane, may not, could be just a second-rate Anthony Martial, but yeah, he's one of the best.
Martial is the second-rate, like Memphis Depay or something.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
I got a question about Martial. Other than the fact that he's French, what's the difference between him and Walcott?
Oh, come on. That's disrespectful. Jose, come on. He's disrespecting Anto like that.
Walcott plays for a team that's in the top 4.
Oh, wow. Gee, thanks. Like, don't take into account.
Oh, that's right. I see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, come on. Yeah, that's insulting to Anthony Martial. Don't even think about comparing Martial to freaking Theo Walcott. And we're talking about Theo Walcott right now, not Theo Walcott like 10 years ago. We're talking about him now. Okay. Nah. Okay, yes. Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah, he hasn't scored a single goal this season for Manchester United, but I think.
He has in the Champions League, scored 2.
He got a shot on target in the Premier.
Oh, yeah, he did score a goal in the Champions League, yeah.
Scored 2 in the Champions League.
Yeah, 2, yeah. One of them was a nice smashing header off of a Neymar corner,
Yeah.
Brilliant header from Anthony Martial, just in the wrong net.
He scored 2 for us, a penalty and a header.
Yeah. But yeah. But when it comes to Anthony Martial, for me, I kind of look at him in the way, not as bad as Firmino's been, but he kind of does the same thing as Firmino does, and I think a lot of people just kind of overlook that. And also, I just want to say, if Anthony Martial was English, I'm telling you, all these pundits would literally be praising him constantly. But it's a stupid foreign player agenda that just drives me absolutely crazy. Like, I never hear them say anything about Maguire. I never hear British pundits say anything really about Jesse Lingard, or if Marcus Rashford does a poor game, they don't say anything. Like honestly, like Martial could have a game, he could score a hat trick, and some of those British pundits would be like, "Oh, Martial, very poor game," and I'm just like, okay. And the hold up play that he does with the ball, I think it's phenomenal for me. How he links the play together, kind of like Firmino does it. He's not as good as Firmino in terms of the way he does it.
Wait, what? You cut out right there. What you said?
He does what Firmino does and more. He's actually a lot better than Firmino, in my opinion.
But for me, Firmino is specialized in link-up play. So, I think for me, Firmino, because, that's his specialty. I know scoring goals isn't for everybody, and I know it's not for Firmino. I mean, Martial's definitely better than Firmino in terms of just scoring goals.
Can we compare goals scored at home last season between Firmino and Martial?
Yeah.
How about in Champions League?
I think Lacazette's better than all of them.
Okay, yeah, and that's where we immediately end the conversation. And shifting into that next game, Cyrus, actually over to you. Leicester was able to get a marginal 1-0 win over Wolves. Jamie Vardy, of course, who could have guessed it, dispatching the penalty. What did you make of that game?
Yeah, it was a penalty that decided the win. We always talk about Vardy, Madison, the midfield attacking play by Leicester, but I feel like the defense of Leicester is not really talked about. I feel like Schmeichel's had a great season, another outstanding performance he saved in that game. I feel like we also need to talk about an underrated player, Wesley Fofana.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's been very impressive.
Yeah, and he came from the same team as Saliba, and he's turned out to be, so far more successful. Saliba's also, obviously had issues and stuff, but Fofana's been amazing. He's 19 years old, coming from Saint Etienne. I think another great performance. He was great against Arsenal too. So, I hope he has a successful season.
Yeah. And Cyrus just did brilliantly to point that out. Wesley Fofana. I mean, this guy was the anchor for that Saint Etienne defense, alongside William Saliba, and he's just done a phenomenal job since he's come in. I mean, he's been thrown in all sorts of defensive formations. He's been thrown in a back four. He's been thrown in a back three, thrown in a back five. Whether people want to say back three and back five are the same thing, I don't know, nor do I care. But he's been a standout performer since that big absence of Kavlar Soyuncu. I mean, he's huge to that Leicester side, especially last season, and especially the beginning of this year. And I think Fofana, he's just slotted in there nicely. I mean, they've missed some other key defensive players. I mean, Johnny Evans has been gone. Wilfred Ndidi's been gone. They've been missing some key players. Ricardo. Did Castagne play? I don't know. I really don't know what's up with Castagne, but I don't know where he's been at. Brendan Rodgers has really been preferring that back three, typically of Christian Fuchs, James Justin, and Wesley Fofana. Sometimes Wes Morgan shifts in there here and there. Personally, yeah, he's been brilliant. And I think another standout performer, who gets overlooked, Yuri Tielemans. That guy, and I said it from last season. That was a guy I was furious with how Manchester United didn't sign. That guy on loan impressed so much with Leicester, and I was hoping that just for a central midfielder, we would sign Tielemans. But of course, we have our brilliant owners as always, who I don't feel like talking about because they will just make me very angry. To talk about the owners that clearly don't care about a specific football club. Yeah, he's been phenomenal for Leicester. He's done he's been all over the place for them. And of course you have Harvey Barnes and Dennis Pratt, who's been thrown in different positions. He's been thrown in midfield. He's been thrown in the front three. Brendan Rodgers is a super flexible coach, and he's able to set up his team tactically. And I think that's one of the most impressive thing about Brendan Rodgers. And I know Aidan can tell you all about it from experience, from himself. But just the way he can, and the various different ways he can set up teams. Like one day it could be a back four, next day it could be a back three. I just personally find that impressive for me personally. Aidan, what are your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers? I just want to hear from a former Brendan Rodgers fan.
He's a top manager in my opinion. One of the top 5, I'd say, in the Prem for sure. And like you said, the way he can set up teams, the way he adapts, the way he adjusts to the squad, I think it's really high up there. He's very good at it. At Liverpool, he's been known to do that as well. It's just unfortunate the way things ended with him at Liverpool. But he's went to Celtic, then now back in the Prem, and I feel he's done a fantastic job in both Celtic and now at Leicester. So I'm excited what they're going to do this year. Because last year, they performed really well. They got high up in the league. And I don't know, maybe this year they can do it too because of how crazy it is. So we'll find out.
Yeah, very well said there. And Brendan Rodgers nearly went to Arsenal. At the time when Mr. Good Evening, aka Unai Emery, got sacked. I mean, personally, I don't know what Cyrus's shortlist is or was at that time. Cyrus, were you thinking about Brendan Rodgers, or did you have other managers in mind? Pochettino, Allegri, Arteta.
I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't, but he's proven me wrong. I was just thinking kind of Arteta, Allegri, those guys.
All right. Well, you've heard it from him himself. I mean, personally, I think, personally for me, I think Brendan Rodgers. I would love Brendan Rodgers at Manchester United, just from a personal point of view. I just think from a tactical standpoint, I mean, this guy is so impressive with tactics in terms of just the way he sets up teams. And as much as I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just the way he constantly changes his team every week. It really doesn't do much good to this United side, who are really have had a torrid start to the season if you think about it. And I think the way Brendan Rodgers is able to do it is something about him where he can just supply his magical tactics, and somehow it all works out. And for me, I think Brendan Rodgers would be phenomenal for Manchester United. But I mean, I'm not the only fan to say this. Jose, do you think Brendan Rodgers would succeed tactically on the field? Tactically, we're not talking about transfers, because every manager will fail there. But what do you think?
I'm not a fan of him because I think he's a bottle job. I mean, you saw it at Liverpool. You saw it at Leicester last season. He had a 15-point lead, and he still somehow lost it. I think that he'll get the lead. He'll have a few good games, and then he'll lose it, as he's done twice now in 2 seasons at the Premier League.
All right. And proved my point right. Brendan Rodgers may not be for everybody. I mean, as I said before, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let's say he got the sack, and I don't think there'd be a single fan to say, that's super unfair. It's not deserved. I think, I think there can be more than enough examples and times where he should be sacked. But in the likelihood of that event, I think the first name, the man who Woodward has wanted for literally ages, even before Jose Mourinho got the job, Maurizio Pochettino. I mean, Woodward is absolutely obsessed with this guy. If he sacks Solskjaer, I think it's going to be kind of like what Tottenham did with appointing Mourinho. Just immediately, when they sacked Pochettino, Mourinho was there in there the next day or two. I think it would be the exact same thing. If Solskjaer got sacked, I think they'd appoint Pochettino in the next day or two. But yeah, but Aidan, coming over to you, your boys Liverpool, they drew against Manchester City. Mohamed Salah yet again scoring another penalty, whether it was deserved or not, because because I know Mo Salah loves to dive around when he comes around that 18-yard box. I know that's his thing, and then a man who we haven't seen much this season, Gabriel Jesus, scoring for Manchester City. It seems like a long while since I've seen Gabriel Jesus even play or even score, for that matter. What did you make of that performance? Were you impressed or were you disappointed?
I don't know. It's one of those games where it could have gone either way. For example, literally the first minute of the game, we break through the Fab Four, the new Fab Four, as I say. Firmino gets slotted in a bit wide. Maybe if his touch is a bit better, maybe if it bounces differently, he can either slot someone in or finish himself. But Ederson recovers. So just like that, moments like the game in the game, there's 20 minutes Liverpool in control, another 20 Man City are in control, then 5 and 10, just all over the place. But like your boy said, Roy Keane, Walker is an idiot. And completely, you do not move your leg in front of someone when they're running inside the box, especially if it's Mane. All day as a pen, in my opinion, all day. Salah, without a doubt in my mind, he's scoring that, and he did. So thankfully, made it 1-0. And then, like I said, Man City, they took control of the game, creating chances with De Bruyne. And my opinion on Liverpool right now is due to the injuries and Jota coming in. Klopp is trying out these new formation where it's on paper it's 4-2-3-1, but during the game it transitions into a 4-2-4. And offensively, I love it because I love to see them all involved in the play. But defensively, we got found out, and as you can see, De Bruyne had tons and tons of space when Man City were breaking, which ultimately led to the goal. Jesus, who, in my opinion, like I said, it could go either way this game. Where I don't know if he meant that touch, if it bounced up on his heel, but fair play to him. He got there quick and finished it off, and that was 1-1. But like I said, Sterling also missed a chance where he could have maybe it goes in between Alisson's leg. Alisson got his leg to it, so that too. And even right before the second half ended, Liverpool on a break with a beautiful ball of the top to Mane, beautiful first touch past Diaz. Either he could have, in my opinion, maybe chip Ederson as he was way off his line. That's what I've done personally. But he decides to play Salah. Salah could have also shot, but he waited for Trent, slots Trent in, plays it across, maybe first touch finish if the ball's a bit better. But Ederson got to it and bobbled it out. Maybe Jota's a bit quicker. He gets there, finishes it. But nah, Ederson recovered, and then that was the first half, and concluded the first half, which in my opinion was a very good first half of football. Second half, Man City took control, in my opinion. They came out stronger. And then past as soon as Trent unfortunately got injured, which is a shame. It's a shame they got injured. So I think the game kind of cooled down. There's a bit back and forth until the 90th minute where Liverpool got a free kick in like a really good area, and we just bottled it completely. One of the last kicks of the game. And yeah, so it was a good game overall. It could have went either way. Could have been a 3-0 game, 3-2, either way. So I feel like, yeah, we got a result. In my opinion, it wasn't 2 points dropped. We got the point. Thought it was fair, and hopefully Trent can come back quick. I don't want to see no 4 weeks of him out. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Yet again, another great analysis from Aidan, and now I think people can see why I've wanted this guy on the show for so long. In terms of what he said, I think he said everything spot on. Yeah, it is unfortunate for Trent Alexander-Arnold how another injury adds to the Liverpool list. And Liverpool, and I think the issue with Liverpool is that they really don't have. They have a great amount of depth in the attack, but when it comes to the defense, they really don't have much. And I mean, yeah, of course, you could say the Spanish Roberto Carlos, aka Alberto Moreno, of course, wasn't the greatest. But when you had those injuries, I mean, he could just slot right in. Yeah, he was dreadful defensively, but I mean, at least you could slot him for a game or two, and Liverpool could survive. But, I mean, they have no Van Dijk. Now they have no Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I think for me personally, I mean, Joel Matip. I mean, this guy is, this guy is like the Cameroonian Gareth Bale. I mean, this guy gets injured so much. And also, one half the time, I don't even know where he is personally. And he just came out of nowhere. I mean, Aidan, was he declared fully fit by Klopp to play? Was he? I mean, I have no idea where he came from. He came out of nowhere.
He's been injured, and so he's been recovering. He's taking it light in training, and then so he could have played last week, but Klopp wanted to rest him even more, so he's good, available for the City game. And I just want to touch back on the City game in Liverpool. We were also missing many key players, in my opinion.
So many.
And especially Van Dijk. So I feel like we handled it pretty well, because I feel like City were only truly missing Aguero, who causes us problems.
Aguero can cause anybody problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Harry Kane. I mean, Aguero can cause literally any team problems. And as a United fan, I know I felt all the pain for being on the back end of Sergio Aguero's, smashing goals against Manchester in the Manchester derby, especially Jose. And Aidan, last question regarding Liverpool's defensive issues. Do you think Klopp should 100% bring in a center back, defensive reinforcement? And if so, in a realistic sense, and knowing that it is January, who do you think Klopp should bring in? knowing it's January and knowing you probably won't get, a Koulibaly or Upper McConnell in January, because that just probably won't happen. Who would you bring in terms of a relative, like, short-term solution, maybe long-term, who knows?
All right. Well, firstly, I don't think it's 100%. I think it's 1,000,000%. We need a center back for sure. And I know we've been looking into that Schalke, the Turkish center back, which I haven't been seeing too much of him. I don't really watch Bundesliga, but I've been hearing that he's a decent player. And initially, I think we wanted to sign him before the season started for like 25 mil, 30 mil maybe. But now they're asking 50 mil. So I don't know if it's worth it, but it's not my money. It's Liverpool's money. So if they want to spend that 50 mil, I trust Klopp, I know that he makes good signings, because I really don't think that there's been a signing he's made that truly, truly disappointed. And I back him. So let's see.
Oh, wait, Aidan, you said that Klopp can actually make his signings, and that he has a sporting director who can do it for him?
Yes, sir.
Really? No way.
Yeah, see this badge right here? That's why we're current club World Cup champions.
Wait, didn't he sign
Six.
Daniel Klein?
Daniel Klein?
No, that was a Brendan
Oh,
Rodgers
is that
signing.
Brendan Rodgers? All right.
But wait. Klopp has an ownership and a director of football that's behind him and backs him.
Baby. FSG, baby.
Oh my goodness!
Yep.
Wow. Maybe all Premier League clubs should have that. Oh wait, not all Premier League clubs should have that. I know one who definitely doesn't, who I'm not going to name, because it's pretty damn obvious that they haven't from the signings for the past 8 damn years. But, yeah.
Got big number 7.
Yeah. And reverting back to, and still staying with you, Aidan. I saw this morning that they were linked to the 29-year-old Algerian center back from Betis. I think it's like
Andy.
Him. James Tarkowski, another one that's been he's been linked with Liverpool for like a long period of time. Another possibility who they could actually get in January, David Alaba. They could very well get David Alaba in January.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That would be a phenomenal signing for Liverpool. I mean, he would displace Joe Gomez. He would displace Joe Gomez. 110%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that guy. I mean, if Manchester United even signed David Alaba, I don't know. I'd probably have a freaking fiesta, considering the fact that we're crap at making signings. Yeah. But yeah, James Tarkowski is another one. Any thoughts on him?
I mean, he's decent. He's been Premier League experience. But if we can get Alaba, in my opinion, Alaba is the way to go. If we get him, it's because he's left-footed. He can play the left center back. He can play the left back. He can play the midfield. And if we, my ideal lineup, if we can get him, will be Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk as right center back because he's right-footed. Alaba on the left. Robertson, that's the back 4 right there. And I feel like playing out the back is going to be easy money because the left foot and the right foot on their natural sides, and Alaba, his composure on the ball, his experience, Champions League winner. I feel like then that will leave Gomez to be the backup. And I feel like Gomez has only really looked good because he's been next to Van Dijk.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
My opinion, because I feel like Van Dijk.
He holds his hand. Van Dijk can hold his hand and nothing can happen.
Van Dijk just makes anyone next to him so much better. The way he leads them, the way he tells them what to do. And I feel like he has that confidence and composure around the back line.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What is it, Andre?
No, I was going to make that point with David Alaba because he's been linked to a host of clubs, but I'm thinking the guy.
I think he's going to go to Spain, personally. I don't think he'll end up in the Premier League. I think he's going to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid, personally.
Never know what cock can pull off.
And Jose, speaking of Real Madrid, would you be even remotely interested in David Alaba?
I think we should get a younger player than David Alaba, but I think he'd be good, obviously. But I also don't know where he would fit. He wouldn't displace Ramos at the moment. Ramos is pretty much having his one of his best seasons so far after last year, obviously.
Lethal in front of goal. I mean, that guy can score everything. Free kicks, screamers, headers, Panenkas. I mean, this guy can score everything.
Yeah.
But wait. But even though this guy can score loads of goals, he's brilliant defensively. Want to know what he isn't, Jose? as a famous pundit says, he's not world class. He's not world class because he has a record of yellow and red cards, so he's not world class. I wonder who says that, Jose. What are your thoughts on that?
Interesting statement. Interesting statement. That's
He's
all.
PNFC
That's all
is
I'll
a
say.
joke.
Brilliant, yeah, brilliant. We all love Stevie, and I know Aidan has a very special place in his heart for Mr. Stevie, don't you, Aidan?
Liverpool legend, of course.
100%.
Everything he says is 100% true.
Yeah, just like his mate, just like his other mate, Mr. Craig, and then and I know and Jose's favorite duo, Mr. Shaka and Mr. Ale. Isn't that right, Jose?
Of course, the best pundits.
Yeah. And finally, Cyrus, shifting over to you. And I have to say, I'm certainly pissed off at this game. Because on last week's show, I put my neck on the line when Landon and Andre and Jose were all saying they were going to lose. I put my neck on the line, and I stood valiantly with Cyrus and said, no, if Arsenal are going to keep playing the way they're playing, if they play the way they played against Manchester United, they will batter Villa. And it was really just two exact opposite performances. I mean, last week it looked like they're at the very top of the game. And now and after Villa, it just looks like they're right back to capitulation land, where we've seen Arsenal so many times, and I know Andre relishes in that. And Arsenal got embarrassed. They got ripped apart at the back. But before I go on with my opinion, in that 3-0 defeat with an own goal from Bukayo Saka and 2 goals from, as I was talking about earlier, Ollie Watkins. This guy has shown all the problems he caused with Brentford, he's caused the same exact problems in the Premier League. Serious, what did you make of this torrid and quite frankly embarrassing Arsenal performance?
Thank you for adding those vocab words.
Anytime.
I just think it was just poor, honestly. I feel like David said, I feel like you hyped up like Arsenal a little bit too much against Man U. I feel like we weren't that great. I feel like we got the pen to score. I feel like we didn't have like that many chances, but taking away from
not that many chances.
I feel like I don't know.
I can think of several chances. Aubameyang, the one with Aubameyang where he after Bellerin crossed, he nearly missed. Saka, a free header. There was a chance where I'm not sure if it was Aubameyang or Lacazette, but he narrowly deflected off Victor Lindelof. There was definitely a chance that Lacazette should have scored. There's a Thomas Partey shot from outside the 18, and Elneny as well. There were a host of chances Arsenal had. So
I think the only clear-cut chance they had was with Willian, and he hit the bar.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, I feel like our performance was good, but it wasn't like spectacular or anything. I feel like we're still like it's so hard to create chances. I feel like Aubameyang needs to play striker. Lacazette just isn't delivering. I know he had 3 goals in his first 3 games, but I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say like his time's over. I feel like he's a good player. He just doesn't have confidence right now. Willian, I feel like his only correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like his only like really good game for us was his first game. He was decent against Man U, but I feel like Willian, he needs to go. I feel like honestly, I know Elneny's the best Egyptian player in the Premier League right now.
Don't say that around Aidan. Don't say that around Aidan. Don't trigger Aidan. Don't trigger Aidan.
But
Aubameyang is that light-skinned fullback though.
Okay. I feel like we need like more of a spark. I feel like a player like Ceballos. I know Willock had a good game in the Europa League. I feel like maybe he deserves a couple more chances to start.
I thought he was going to start, to be honest with you.
I'm just remembering.
Good.
Recently, a friend of mine, I don't remember his name. He said Lacazette was a big game player, and I was like, no.
I don't know who said that.
Yeah, me neither. That's weird.
But
it seemed like it for the longest period of time, but as of recent,
yeah,
he hasn't been great.
He still has 3 more goals than Martial in the Premier League, so it's okay. But it was just tough defensively. Holding, couldn't take control of Ollie Watkins, and it's nice to see Ollie Watkins be successful. Fortunately, had to be
an Arsenal fan himself. He said himself.
Yeah,
he's an
and
Arsenal fan.
I actually went to 2 Brentford games and I watched him. I watched him score too. it was interesting to see him play like this. Holding just got outpaced, but Ollie Watkins was giving him a hard time. I thought, Gabriel couldn't really do much either. His first game where he wasn't immense.
Jack Grealish,
yeah.
I just have to say, Jack Grealish looked like freaking like prime Ronaldinho. Like, he was loving life against Rob Holding and Bellerin. I mean, those two are petrified of him. He's so many times, and I'm not trying to rip an Arsenal, just for the sake of it. I mean, yeah, of course, trolling Arsenal is fun, but just looking at this game, I mean, Rob Holding, I couldn't tell if this guy was like just turned into like a spinning dreidel, or if he was on a merry-go-round. I mean, this guy was spinning all over the place. Jack Grealish just had a lovely afternoon.
I feel like in more games, like Arteta, he demands that intensity. I feel like it just wasn't there today. I feel like Bellerin, still kind of – I feel like this whole season he's been a little bit of a liability on the defensive end. But, another big blow is Partey. He went out at halftime. Don't know what's going to happen
after
there.
that. After that, they fell apart. I mean,
Yeah,
Arsenal,
exactly.
I mean and in the pregame show, as I said, I guess the departure from Troops from Arsenal Fan TV is starting to really affect Lacazette and Aubameyang's performances, and it's pretty clear to me. Both of them were, for the most part, or definitely Lacazette, but Aubameyang not as much, but I mean, both of them were just largely anonymous, in my opinion. Aston Villa ran the game, they ran the show, they were brilliant. They looked like the Aston Villa side that battered a certain side that I won't mention around a certain person, because I know someone will get very angry if I remind them of Mr. Adrian. But yeah, Aston Villa looked like just being back to their normal, or hopefully what will be like their normal ways under Dean Smith. I gotta say, since that 7-2 battering of a certain side, Aston Villa just looked like a whole different team, quite frankly. And as he said, Ollie Watkins, and as Mr. DT said on Arsenal Fan TV from that game, who looks like the 50 million pounds striker, Lacazette or Watkins? I mean, it's very clear and evident to me that Ollie Watkins definitely looked like the 50 million pound striker. But yeah. And yeah, that's what I made from the Arsenal game. Cyrus, did you make anything else from it?
I think that's about it. Just really poor. After Tuesday, I just shut my computer off because I was watching it on Peacock, of course. We have to watch it on there, but yeah, it was just disappointing.
All right. We've reached the end of the show, but before, does anybody else have to say anything about any of the games this past weekend or anything?
I got a quick question for you guys. Who do you think is going to be the first manager to be sacked?
Bilic, in my opinion. I think Bilic is really close to the sack.
I'm going to be the first to get sacked.
I knew someone was going to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but that turnaround against Everton, I think the board, the Manchester United board, are just gonna they're just gonna take that as a he's got the win, the fans will forget everything about it, and yeah, he'll be back at the wheel next week. Also something I do want to say, I do kind of want to, but I do want to publicly call out one of my friends who's been telling me for the longest amount of time, James Rodriguez is better than Bruno Fernandes. And in that game, I'm just going to say, sit your bum down, because I don't want to hear, nothing about James Rodriguez being better than Bruno Fernandes. James may have had a good start, but he is no Bruno Fernandes, okay? So I don't want to hear anything more about James Rodriguez even being anywhere near Bruno Fernandes. And yeah.
I did say, obviously I've made fun of Bruno Fernandes, but I obviously said he would do it against Everton. I said he'd be the one to get Man United the win. I said that. and now I'm going to eat more praise. You look at the way, and no one else is saying it, and I feel like it's going unsaid, but Kevin De Bruyne has been a shadow of himself. He's not been the Kevin De Bruyne that we all know, the third best player in the world. For me, at one point, even second the best player in the world. But so I feel like not enough is being made of that. Kevin De Bruyne has been off his mark. I think Bruno Fernandes has started the season possibly better than Kevin De Bruyne. I think he needs to step it up. So I just want to point that out, that De Bruyne has been a shadow of himself. I don't know if you guys agree. And I say that
I was gonna say, watching the game.
I think he is to a certain extent. Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, with the absence of Aguero and with the injuries and stuff, I think Pep Guardiola has now put more on De Bruyne's shoulders, other than just being that playmaker, other than just being the brilliant player we all know Kevin De Bruyne is. I mean, yeah, even though we have Bruno Fernandes, if I had the opportunity to take Kevin De Bruyne, I think any team in the world would be an absolute fool to say no. I mean, he fits into every single team, regardless of what system. Regardless of what system a team plays. I mean, into Barcelona's team, now they do play with them. He fit into Real Madrid's team. He would fit into the Mikel Arteta's masterclass that wasn't of last week, or wasn't this past week, but of his little 3 at the back formation. But yeah, this guy is a world-class player, and as much as I hate Manchester City, nobody can deny this guy is a world-class player. He's a phenomenal player. And I know Aidan loves Raheem Sterling. Don't you, bud?
Actually, just realized that I missed out during the match analysis. I completely went across my head. De Bruyne actually missed the penalty.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to square it back to Sterling. Maybe he's trying to square it back to Sterling.
Yeah.
But if he did, Sterling may have blazed it over the bar, so who knows?
I thought De Bruyne didn't play very well in that game.
No, he didn't.
So you couldn't make passes. It was weird. I'd never seen him play like that before.
Yeah.
Now, I think it would be an overstatement to say, is this the start of Kevin De Bruyne's decline? I think it'd be an overstatement for anybody to think that or to say that. I mean, this is the first game in a long time where I've looked at Kevin De Bruyne and I said, is this even Kevin De Bruyne I'm watching, or is this, I don't know.
But he still had moments of penetrating our back line,
Yeah, on the counter. I think that's how Gabriel Jesus scored his goal. It came from Kevin De Bruyne.
Completely off. He's still dangerous, but of course he wasn't fully dangerous. And I feel like that's part of his game too. Sometimes he doesn't take the game by the grip of his hands. Especially I noticed the biggest moment was last Champions League against Lyon.
100%.
Big players, and De Bruyne wouldn't take the ball in his hands. He wouldn't be that game changer. So I feel like to be the cemented top 3 in the world, I feel like he has to add that to his game where he can start carrying. I feel like he doesn't carry. He relies on his teammates to help him out, which is fine. But if he wants to cement that place, I feel like that's what he got to start doing. Yeah,
100%. Definitely 100%. Just like for a lot of the beginning of the year, Adrian was carrying that Liverpool back 4.
I mean, he won us a Super Cup. He won us a Super Cup. More than Man U.
Man U, for the most part, has been blessed with goalkeepers, typically. One thing. Dean Henderson is a phenomenal goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, but I have no clue why on earth he got a new contract worth $120K a week. Someone please explain to me when we have the supposed best backup goalkeeper in the world. And before Henderson, he still was the best backup goalkeeper in the world.
Romero. I don't know what Man U are doing. I love it. Ole in 100%.
Of course, for you,
I don't know if you ever saw this stat, but it's Ole's first 100 games in charge and Klopp's first 100 games in charge.
Oh, don't even start comparing Solskjaer to Klopp.
Way ahead of Klopp, and I'm like, that's why he's world class. That's why Ole's world class. He gets more wins than Klopp in his first 100 games. So hopefully he stays there for a long, long time. Hopefully the board stays. Hopefully
Hell no.
Hopefully they offer Jones, Maguire,
No, not another new contract for Phil Jones.
All the
Please,
classics, new
please,
contract.
please, not another new contract for Phil Jones. You already did that in 2019. Please.
They add a contract extension to the new number 7, Cavani. Give him a 4-year deal, hopefully.
My number 7.
Honestly, here's my thing with Cavani. If we hadn't signed the Nigerian Aguero and we had signed Cavani, I would be happy with that. If we had signed Cavani instead in January, and we just paid the cut price, 25 million to sign Cavani, I'd be happy with that. And if it was like a year, 2.5 year deal, whatnot, I'd be more than happy with that. And then we signed, and then if the board actually paid up the money for a certain little Englishman at Borussia Dortmund who plays on the wing, no, and it's not Jude Bellingham, and we actually know Manchester United. I've been absolutely shot upon by Dortmund 3 times. First of number one, Ed didn't want to pay the 20 million for Holland and have him have a 75 million release clause that would have been active in like 2 years. Dortmund come in, they take him. Second, Jude Bellingham. We showed him around Carrington, Sir Alex, Eric Cantona, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All of them are there. Nope, he goes to Dortmund. And the third thing, which pissed me off the most, and I'm still dreaming. I don't care what anybody says. I'm still dreaming of him. Jadon Sancho. Dortmund set a price, and in my opinion, it was a pretty fair price. It was actually a cut price, still, if you think about it, because in a normal world, that price would have been like 150, 175, 200 million pounds. But Dortmund said, look, if you can even pay in add-ons, if you give us 100 million up front, and forget the add-ons, and just add on the remaining like 10, 20 million, we would be fine. And Dortmund said that was perfectly fine. And of course, Woodward didn't want to pay the 100 million. Of course, don't ask why. I think we all know why. Because it's same old. But yeah.
I'm glad that you're not too upset about the Bellingham situation, because I know he's like a box-to-box midfielder. But although you don't really have a box-to-box, you got a barber-to-barber midfielder in Pogba. So that's pretty good.
Donny van de Beek. This blonde Dutch kid I'm always seeing on the bench. I've never seen him before. It's like this, this blonde kid came from Ajax.
The ball boy.
Yeah.
Isn't a ball boy?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I just see this blonde Dutch kid just sitting on the bench. And he doesn't really play. Don't really understand why Mata's still playing on the team. The fact how that's the exact reason why Bernard and Digne gave Wan-Bissaka an absolute nightmare. Even then, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, aka the Spider-Man, he's just that good. He's that good when in most games when his wingers or midfielders just like don't give him support. He still is capable of being the Spider-Man, and yeah. And
England's 4th best center back. That's it.
Gosh, Gareth Southgate and his favorites just kill me. Honestly, I don't get it. I really don't get.
I mean, he doesn't want to play for England though, so that's what he said.
It's unfair. It's unfair. I like how they call Reece James and Ainsley Maitland-Niles ahead of Wan-Bissaka. I think that's just. It's totally unfair.
He doesn't want to play. He said he doesn't want to play for England, so I feel like that's part of the reason.
Well, he's looking at Congo more because he's realized that Gareth Southgate, through his love affairs with Mason Mount and involving Frank Lampard, along with that, that's just especially for Jack Grealish, I feel for him. Anyways, we've reached the end of our show. Thank you for your time watching this. If you like this video, or episode, and you've loved what you see from Aidan, give us the love the channel needs. Smash the like on the video if you want to keep up with us on Instagram. We are also there at PL Primetime. And wherever you are in the world, have a great day/evening.